Okay, we'll start in 2 minutes' time.
Hey, it's on YouTube. So we have to be on our best behavior.
Relax, have fun, okay?
Enjoy.
Yeah. This is quite an informal session, so just relax, enjoy. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll start. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the first episode of the year for the AppliedHE Fireside Chat. My name is Mandy Mock, and I'm the founder and CEO of AppliedHE, a Singapore-based but globally oriented higher education, evaluation, and branding agency. The topic for this evening's discussion is about the hidden power of language. And our panel of speakers is going to dig deeper into the transformative potentials of applied linguistics in higher education. So please join us to explore the practical aspects of linguistic theory, showing you how language impacts real-world issues from education to technology and social change. This episode is proudly sponsored by the International Association of Applied Linguistics, or ILA as they are known, and this is in celebration of the 21st ILA World Congress taking place from August 11 to the 16th at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre, the KLCC. Please go to their website to register if you would like to participate in the ILA World Congress happening in KL this coming August. The moderator for this evening's Fireside Chat is Professor Dr. Cordelia Mason. She is a professor in management and entrepreneurship at the University Kuala Lumpur and also the vice president of the Malaysian Association of Applied Linguistics. Incidentally, today is also her birthday. Happy birthday, Cordelia. What a great way to spend your birthday, surrounded by an exceptionally strong panel of linguists hailing from Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. The floor is all yours, Cordelia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you very much. And happy birthday to me, right? Yeah, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, to everyone present here today. My duty is to introduce the fireside chat as well as the speakers, yeah? But before I do that, I'd like to remind everyone that do please use the chat feature, yeah, the Q&A as well, so that once we have those questions, I'll be able to ask these extremely prestigious and distinguished applied linguists from the ASEAN region that is here, yeah, from Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Yeah, I will introduce them one by one as they are about to speak. But before we go on, okay, about AppliedHE Fireside Chat. What is it? Yeah, it's basically an in-depth, that means we will discuss deeply about the topics given, thought-provoking discussion. You're allowed to do that by writing in the chat, which can shed light on important but often ignored issues in global higher education. And I am very super confident, yeah, that our speakers here today will be able to enlighten us on the topic of applied linguistics. If they can't, then I give up. All right, so we shall start by introducing Professor Emeritus Dr. Azira Hashim, a recipient of various prestigious awards, yeah, such as the Humboldt Fellowship Award from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, Germany, Marie Curie, yes, that lady, yeah, Fellowship Award in Germany, Trinity Long Room, now it's a room, yeah, Hub Fellowship in Ireland, Honorary Member Award of Linguistics Society of the Philippines, plus many others. I shall not deliberate on her research because you can look it up in her biography. And she is also the Fellow of Academy of Sciences, Malaysia. So of course, she is a world-renowned applied linguistics scholar and academic, and therefore applied linguist, yeah. And she is the founding president of the Malaysian Association of Applied Linguistics, MAL. And I'm proud to also mention that she is also the first Asian, yeah, to be elected as the president of the prestigious International Association of Applied Linguistics, ILA, commonly known as ILA, yeah, which was established in France in 1964, older than myself, and currently headquartered in Switzerland. Ladies and gentlemen, let us invite Prof. Emeritus Azira to enlighten us on applied linguistics. Do please write any comments or question on the chat. Thank you. Prof. Azira, the virtual floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Cordelia, for this kind introduction. I would also like to thank Dr. Mandy Mock and Mr. Simon Yeo for the invitation to be on this panel. I'm very pleased to be on this fireside chat on the applied higher education panel for the first time, and especially pleased to be able to talk about the role of applied linguistics in higher education. Often when I tell people who are not in the linguistics discipline that I'm in the International Association of Applied Linguistics, or that we're hosting the World Congress on Applied Linguistics in Kuala Lumpur in August, I get the question, what is applied linguistics and what do applied linguists do? And usually I try and actually enlighten them by illustrating the role that we have in creating impact in society, and about the utility of applied linguistics, about what it actually contributes to various domains. So one definition I would say is that it is an interdisciplinary field. It is on research and practice. It actually aims to look at problems to do with language and communication. And we applied linguists try to actually identify the problems that we find, analyze the problems, and also try and find solutions to all the many different language-related problems in various domains. It is not, actually, it's not easy to delimit applied linguistics because it's an ever-changing society, and so therefore we have new problems that emerge, and these are problems that we actually can contribute and we can help to solve if they're language related or communication related. In the field of higher education, applied linguists have been actually actively involved in various areas of research. I would pick on one which is tied to internationalization of higher education, and I would like to focus on ASEAN, which is what a lot of my research is about. So internationalization of higher education, various internationalization policies have come in across all universities across the ASEAN region, ASEAN being the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, comprising 10 countries that actually are collaborating quite closely together, especially ever since we became an ASEAN community in 2015. So we can see several internationalization policies that have emerged in various universities across the region. Some of them mention language, some of them don't, yeah? And then tied very closely to internationalization and the increase in international students, increased engagement between higher education institutions is the adoption of English, adoption of English, implementation of English as a medium of instruction. You can see that this is happening all over the region. Very often it happens very quickly, yeah, without that much preparation. And I think language issues haven't really been the focus in the higher education sphere. So in this area of EMI, English as a medium of instruction, there's been quite a lot of work by applied linguists looking at challenges faced by lecturers, yeah, challenges faced by students and also by administrators. What are the challenges that they face with this sudden change to English as a medium of instruction? Yeah, what can be done to actually alleviate the problems that they face? Yeah, so I think that's something that we really need to look into more closely. And I think it is important that applied linguists across the region work together to come up with actually, um, uh, you know, common efforts, yeah, to look into this particular matter and to come up with suggestions on the way forward. Nah? So I think not enough has been done at the moment, and there's a lot of the research indicate that currently this has created a lot of problems in various institutions. It is not just countries, universities in Singapore and Malaysia that have actually implemented EMI for quite some time, but it is actually also happening in countries that actually only have recently implemented EMI. Yeah, so I think that's one of the issues, one of the language issues that we have a big role to play, and we could actually put forward proposals for the ASEAN region. I'm not sure whether I've got time to elaborate on other issues, or perhaps the next speaker can go ahead first.
Right. You have 2 more minutes actually, Prof, if you want, but
Minutes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go on? Yeah.
Yes, another area that applied linguists have been working actively in is English as a lingua franca, and there's been quite a bit of research on English as a lingua franca in ASEAN. English is the working language of ASEAN. It's the language used in official meetings. It's also the language used in higher education when universities in ASEAN collaborate. I mean, there's mobility of students here moving from one university to another. So research has actually looked at interactions that take place between speakers from different ASEAN countries to see what are the problems that they encounter when they're actually interacting in English with one another. Yeah. So how can this actually be dealt with? What can we do to actually improve the effectiveness of communication when they actually find themselves communicating in such situations? Yeah. And I would say that actually majority of the people in the ASEAN region will only be interacting with speakers from the ASEAN region in English, and not many will be interacting in English beyond that. So we have to look into, for example, curriculum. Yeah, what do we need to do in the curriculum in ASEAN? What do we have to consider in terms of books that we're using? Yeah, how do we make it more suited for the ASEAN region? Yeah, what can we actually incorporate to make it actually useful for ASEAN learners of English. So that is another area that there's been quite a bit of research on as well. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Prof. Azira. So in short, she has spoken about internationalization and then English as a medium of instruction as well as English as a lingua franca, focusing on ASEAN. Yeah. So anyway, now from KL, we shall fly in about half an hour, 1 hour maybe, yeah. We will meet Professor Loh Yiling. Yes, she's the smiley one there, and she trains teachers, yeah? Okay, and she's the Dean of Academic and Faculty Affairs at the National Institute of Education, Nanyang Technological University, NTU, Singapore. Cambridge trained, Prof. Loh is an internationally renowned expert in teacher training, yeah, and she's been Prof. Loh teaches, yeah, and also in world Englishes. That means because different parts of the world have their own unique English that they speak, and it grows with them. Yeah. In 2022, she was elected as a fellow of the prestigious International Academy of Education based in Berlin. Yesterday, Prof. Loh, we stopped you and found out that you have also been appointed as the advisor to the Singapore as President Chair Professor in Education of Nanyang Technological University. Congratulations, Prof. Loh. So now, since you have just been awarded that prestigious chair position, would like to call upon yourself to help us and enlighten us on teacher education and applied linguistics. Yeah.
Thank you, Cordelia, and thank you so much for doing the homework and finding out something that was just conferred this week. I'm deeply humbled to be in the company of all of you who have really grown me as an academic and in your professional partnerships with me. So I'm very happy today to share the area of applied linguistics and its relevance for teacher education, which is a very, very warm topic to my heart because it marries my two areas of expertise together, applied linguistics as well as teacher education. So how do I see the relevance between the application of applied linguistics into teacher education? For me, in one word, it is completely relevant. And I would like to say and elaborate on a few points. Number one, in terms of helping us to understand language acquisition, applied linguistics provides us with a lens and insight into how languages are learned, including factors that influence the development of language and individual differences in terms of motivation, as well as factors, both nature and nurture, which help or hinder language acquisition. Therefore, teacher education programs must incorporate this to help our educators understand the complexities of language learning from the lens of understanding language acquisition and tailor-make our instructional strategies accordingly. So that will be the first aspect where applied linguistics is linked to teacher education. The second area where I see it is completely linked is between language teaching methods and approaches that must inform the design and delivery of our teacher education programs. Applied linguistics offers various theories, methods, approaches to language teaching, such as, for example, the different trends in language teaching approaches like the communicative language approach, task-based language approach, to name a few. Teacher education programs need to draw on these approaches in order to prepare teachers in effective instructional techniques and curriculum development so that they can help their students to develop language acquisition and proficiency in the best way possible. Third area I'd like to speak on is the link between language assessment and evaluation and teacher education. Applied linguistics contributes to the development of language assessment tools and techniques that accurately measure language learners' proficiency and progress or lack of in their learning. Therefore, our teacher education programs must equip our educators with the knowledge and skills to design, administer, as well as to interpret these language assessments effectively so that they are able to adequately assess their students' linguistics abilities and standards at the moment, as diagnostics of what they're learning at the moment, and provide appropriate feedback. Fourthly, the link between applied linguistics and sociocultural and sociolinguistic factors. Applied linguistics helps us to explore the social and cultural context in which language, learning, and teaching occur, and therefore issues that are linked, like linguistic diversity, multilingualism, language policy, must be included in the design and delivery of teacher education programs such that teachers can help to create inclusive and culturally responsive language environments to support the linguistic needs of the diverse student populations that they face. Finally, the last point I'd like to cover on the link between applied linguistics and teacher education is that of professional development and reflective practice. Teacher education within the context of applied linguistics encourages ongoing professional development and reflective practice amongst educators. Teachers are often asked to critically reflect on their teaching practices, engage with current research and practice in applied linguistics, and continually refine their instructional approaches in order to meet the evolving needs of students. Overall, as mentioned, applied linguistics helps to provide the thorough lens and theoretical framework in order to help us to think about the design and delivery of teacher education programs. By bridging theory and practice, our teacher educators are better equipped to address the complex challenges inherent in different language teaching and learning contexts. I believe I've used up my 3 minutes, and I will come back to talk a little bit more later on about perhaps the kinds of topics that would frame teacher education programs that are applied linguistics focused. Thank you very much, Cordelia.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Iling. In short, if we can gain some insights, it's basically about teacher development, which would lead to inclusive excellence in teaching, and therefore, which would make students also excellent, I think. So you can see how passionate Prof. Iling is about training teachers. Yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention that when we have MAL, which was founded by Prof. Azira, SAL was founded by Prof. Iling, and she's the advisor of SAL. It's not Sally or anything, it's Singapore Association of Applied Linguistics. And for Prof. Eric, in Hong Kong, I don't know, but in the Philippines, you have PAL, you have British is BAL. So if you hear all these funny sounds, it really means Association of Applied Linguistics with the letters of the country in the front. Yeah, so at least I contributed something, yeah, about applied linguistics. Yeah, easy way. Yeah. So now we shall move back to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur, where this time we will listen to the chair that you must know until August, yeah, because Prof. Shamim Rafid Gheli is the chair of the ILA World Congress 2024, celebrating its 60th birthday, older than myself. Again, I stress that. Yeah, and it's coming to Kuala Lumpur. So with that, please, if you are enlightened today, if you have become interested in applied linguistics, I tell you, if you only have 4 of these applied linguists here today, during the Congress, the World Congress, for 5 days, we will have about 1,700 applied linguists walking around the cities of Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, so just tap on a shoulder and say, do you know what applied linguistics is? Yeah, when you meet them. Okay, so now, without further ado, I would introduce Prof. Shamim, who is a full professor at Segi University, but I think much of her career is aligned to University Putra Malaysia, where she worked for a long time. I will not disclose her age, until 2017. Yeah, she is the president of Malaysian Association of Applied Linguistics, and as I mentioned, the chair of ILA 2024 World Congress. She has done extensive research in various areas of applied linguistics, but today, she told me, she would like to focus on English at the workplace, as well as new terms, yeah? Okay, listen. Transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary aspects of applied linguistics. So that's the third area you will get to know about applied linguistics. Prof. Shamim, please enlighten us.
Thank you, Dr. Cordelia, and good evening, everyone. You know, just last week, I was at an event where someone asked me, what is applied linguistics? And it was interesting. How do you start to explain to people what is applied linguistics and that, oh, I'm an applied linguist, what do you do? And for many people, you're just teaching language. They say, oh, you're teaching language. You're teaching people how to read. You're teaching people how to write. You're teaching people how to speak. But I said, no, that's not what we just do. We do more than that. We go beyond. So today, when we're talking about the hidden power of language, the transformative potential of applied linguistics in higher education, I'd just like to focus a little bit on, very briefly, very quickly, on workplace and the transdisciplinary aspects of applied linguistics. So if we look at applied linguistics, it's basically the science of using linguistics, right? Linguistic knowledge to solve real world problems. And you see real world problems every day in the workplace, right? And if you look at this, it means that it translates into a number of useful skills that can smoothen out communication, bridge cultural divides that may occur in a workplace, even helping to design training programs for different types of workplace contexts. So what are some of the key areas that so far people have been working on and continue to work on, and there's still a lot of new things to find because things are changing, language evolves. workplace evolves and it's forever evolving. And it's more so now that you have AI and globalization and all sorts of other things that have come into play. And I think Professor Eric will expand on that later. So one of the key areas that actually shines in applied linguistics, I would say, would be cross-cultural communication, which is quite popular. And if you look at businesses today, they are global. Basically, they're global. Even the small man on the street tries to become global using Facebook and other aspects to promote his business, or TikTok that you have today. Now, so with people from diverse backgrounds working together, cross-cultural communication becomes important. So AL helps us to understand these differences, how language is used, how cultural norms influence communication, and how to avoid misunderstanding. And the other aspect, of course, is effective communication. Clear and concise communication is essential for any workplace. It's so important because a lot of things get lost along the way. You have communication between upstream, downstream, and many things can go wrong in between. And it could also mean a loss of productivity, yeah, loss of money in terms of dollars and cents. So applied linguistics, you can help to analyze how language is used in different situations like meetings, emails, and so on. So this knowledge can then be used to develop training programs. And then the training programs will be a space where language learning and training takes place. And a company has multilingual workforce. The applied linguist can be, or rather applied linguistics can be used to design effective language training programs. And also develop intercultural communication skills for employees. And one of the aspects that many people tend to forget is language policy. How does language policy come into play in the workplace? So some companies may have like official language policies, for example, regarding what language to use in meetings or in communications with clients. So applied linguistics can help develop these policies in a way that considers the need of all employees and stakeholders. This is just some of the ideas that some of the things that people are doing. And some of the studies, if you look around, that have been explored in terms of workplace, in terms of applied linguistics in the workplace, you have works on language socialization in the workplace. I can go on and on about this, but I'm not going to explain each and every one. But you have language and power. How do you look at how language is used between subordinates, between the top management, upstream, downstream, and so on, top-down relationships, how technology impacts your workplace communication, and so on. And of course, multilingual workplaces and language policy, corpus linguistics, and so on. Yeah. So moving on to that, then comes the power of transdisciplinary aspects of applied linguistics. So why is transdisciplinary in applied linguistics important? And does it hold a lot of promise? It does. It does. It definitely does. One, it helps to break down silos, right? Traditional disciplines often operate in isolation, right? But when we bring in transdisciplinary applied linguistics, it helps to break down these silos. It fosters collaboration between linguists, educators, psychologists, sociologists, and if you like, even engineers, even people in the aviation, yeah, and so on. So then it allows for a more holistic understanding of language and its impact on real world settings. It helps us to address complex problems. So many of the challenges we face today, like global communication, educational equity, and the integration of technology, actually require solutions that go beyond the scope of a single discipline. And that's where applied linguistics, or rather transdisciplinary applied linguistics, actually allows us to tackle these complex issues by drawing insights and methodologies from various fields. So I'll stop there. I think I've gone beyond my 3 minutes, or am I still?
All
Dr. Cordelia?
right. Thank you, Prof. Shamim. Yeah, thank you. So I think basically I'm in my birthday mood. So I think it's really about like a Robocop. Yep, applied linguistics is very powerful, and you talk about the hidden power of applied linguistics. But the AL keeps on, you know, I get this AI, the now commonly more well known than AL will be the AI, but actually AI is powered by AL. Yeah, our artificial intelligence, a lot of it, I think most of it would rely on linguistics. Yeah, so it's like double power. Yeah, so now. Talking about power, in language and linguistics, we're very, very, very concerned about gender equality. Yeah, and of course, because it's also with the SDGs. So we couldn't have all ladies here today. Just look at the guy in the middle. Yeah. So you have something to do for us because you represent the male gender. And we have with us here today, not anyone, but Professor Eric Friginal, he's a professor and head of Department of English and Communication at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, a very highly ranked university. And he was previously professor and director of international program at the Department of Applied Linguistics and ESL at the College of Arts and Sciences at Georgia State University, Atlanta, USA. So we have with us here someone, a blend of Hong Kong and American expertise here. And he specializes in applied corpus linguistics. That's another interesting area. Quantitative research, language policy and planning technology, and language teaching, sociolinguistics, cross-cultural communication, discipline-specific writing, etc., and the analysis of professional discourse in the workplace. But I think in short, if you cannot remember all the rest of the terms, he has published extensively on corpus approaches in discourse analysis and language for aviation. Okay, so now that you've heard the three ladies, let us fly high and higher and listen to Prof. Eric. Prof. Eric, please enlighten us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Cordelia, and happy birthday. I hope you're having a nice birthday evening. I hope I'm going to be able to represent the male gender strongly, but probably not, but I'm happy to oblige and do my best. I'm also from the Philippines, by the way. I'm seeing a lot of participants from the Philippines, so hi to all of you, and thank you for joining us. It's my first time to be part of the group. I just moved to Hong Kong about 2 years ago, and starting to learn about the region and learning more. I'm happy to have connected with Shamim recently at a conference as well. And I'll be at APpliedHE attending. We have a panel on aviation English, and we've invited a lot of experts in this line of inquiry. I'm very, very happy to be an applied linguist. I actually studied it for my PhD. My doctoral program is called Applied Linguistics. So, you know, it was really what I studied for. However, I specialized on corpus linguistics, which is essentially, if you may, data-driven. So getting data to be able to research and making use of the data to answer the question, so what? You know, many of us are researchers and we get the data and then we have to make sense of the data. So the idea of answering the so what to me has two applications. One is for pedagogy, as what Professor Ealing mentioned earlier, language teaching, language learning, materials design, materials production, and then also policy, as what Professor Shamim mentioned. The idea that we can come up with strong, solid language policy from real, authentic linguistic data. Many people technically in linguistics believe that they have intuitions about language and they can immediately make generalizations about language without going into data. In my research, and also the research of a mentor of mine named Douglas Biber, who is very popular as a corpus linguist, the idea that intuitions, could be wrong about language. Sometimes we feel like, hey, what we know, what we're talking about is this because this is our experience, but generally it's not supported by data. So we have to rely on data. So the role that I have is I am a researcher. I'm a good user of data. And I feel like I can apply the findings that I get from data into many things. So I have been studying aviation, for example. I've been working on maritime communication as well. I'm working on intercultural call center interactions, for companies, global companies, for example. And I can come up with when people say, oh, you're too polite in terms of how you talk. I wanted to problematize that by saying, what do you mean by that? How many politeness markers are being used? And then I actually take a look at the implication. So one implication is, are people actually happy to hear politeness or not? And in the process, if I show my data, I can say, hey, look, it's actually working. That if you're polite, you're getting more done, you're getting more customer satisfied, and it's helping you perform your job better. So that's my message. We in Applied Linguistics are great researchers. We rely on data. We're able to make use of data in order to come up with very solid, strong policies that will be more impactful to the lives of the rest of our generations and the people we're teaching. This brings me to my last topic, which is we are now experiencing the advent of generative AI, kind of disruptive in how it's affecting our world, in how it's affecting how we should be teaching. This is also, as Professor Cordelia mentioned, it's influenced by large language models. It's influenced by corpora. So I have been part of this domain for many, many years now, and I'm really still very much surprised by how it's influencing what we're doing. It is the future of how we will eventually be teaching language, and we have to be ready. And this is a call for all of us as applied linguists. We have to be ready. We have to address all the challenges, and we gotta be familiar with all the potential problems like ethical issues, hallucinations, all the fabrications that the machines are giving us, and we got to be prepared. We got to be ready. And my answer is it's going to come from us. I believe that the best answer will come from linguists and applied linguists globally. So that's my sharing.
Thank you, Prof. Eric, for the secret formula. Yeah, the battle between AL and AI, or maybe they will cooperate. Yeah, because it's about inclusion, right? Okay, anyway, just let me acknowledge, yeah, actually we have with us today participants. Yeah, let me just read it out so you know where they come from. Yeah, so from Pakistan, we have someone from Pakistan, and then it says good morning from East Philippines, and then Dubai. We have people from Dubai. And then we also have from Indonesia, we have from Tokyo, we have Paul Fullerton from JB. Yeah. So we have a Paul from JB, we have from Glorious from Rwanda, we have Avati from Oman, from Malaysia, we have from Azerbaijan, we have from Korea, we have from Karachi, Pakistan, another one from Philippines, Islamabad, Pakistan, and then Lahore, Pakistan. All of Pakistan is here today, I think. And we have University of Islamabad, Pakistan. We have from Muscat. Yeah, we have a few from Muscat, and we have someone from the Agriculture University as well, from Pakistan, and we have from Karachi, Oman again, so many people from Oman. Please come to our ILA in August. Yeah, we would love to host you here. And then we have from Malaysia. I have so many people wishing me happy birthday. This can never be better, I think. We have from Algeria, from China, Iraq, yeah, KL, and then more from the Philippines, from China again, from Cameroon. Yeah, so you can see we're quite global and internationalized here. So I think we're all in the right place. Yeah. So with that, let us communicate. I would like, if you all have any question, you can raise your hand, right? And we can have them ask questions, right, Mandy? So if anyone wants to ask a question, just raise your hands and we'll get back to you. But yeah, there's someone in the Q&A. Let me take a look. Yeah, from Bangladesh as well. Yeah, from University of Malaya. There's someone from Bangladesh. Welcome, everyone. Okay, we shall go on. by having and encouraging interaction among our four linguists here. So perhaps Prof. Eric, would you like to ask Prof. Emeritus Dr. Azira some questions? Yeah, because she seems
Sure.
like very excited to answer questions. Right, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, Prof. Azira, I was really inspired by your talk and learning about your experiences and what you have accomplished over the years. I wanted to ask you what you're thinking about in terms of the distinction between native speaker and non-native speaker, that divide. And, you know, we used to be influenced by that a lot in terms of what we teach and in terms of how we teach, for example, pronunciation. But now that the world is getting more global, how do you see us positioning the teaching of EMI relative to that concept? Do we still have to fight that there is native, non-native, and we have to argue for lingua franca and all those things?
Yes, thank you. I think there's been quite a lot of research on English, varieties of English, especially, quite a bit that's been done in Southeast Asia. A lot of work has been done on Malaysian English and Singapore English, Philippine English, and also the emerging varieties. So people are also working on, for example, Thai English, Cambodian English, and Lao English. In terms of teaching, I think we are actually, there's more that needs to be done in terms of materials that we are using or teacher education, native speaker focus and non-native speaker focus. I think in the past, I think all the materials that were being used were actually created by native speakers for people who actually are who have English as either a second language or a foreign language. I think that's an area that we need more collaboration, especially within the ASEAN region. We have people working in silos, in the 10 different countries in ASEAN. But I understand that there was a committee that was looking at creating materials that are suitable for the ASEAN region, materials that would be more suited to actually learners who will be interacting with other speakers from the ASEAN region rather than with native speakers. But I think so far I don't see so many materials that have been created or books that have been published on that. And I think there's more work that needs to be done within the region itself. We have a regional affiliate, ILA ASEAN. I think that is a very good platform for us to discuss this particular matter and to actually see how we can actually adapt the materials that we have, the curriculum that we have for English, for example. How do we make it more suited for people who come from this region?
Thank you very much, Prof. Azira, for that answer. A very excellent one, of course. We have some Mr. David Tay, yeah? I think this question is probably directed towards Prof. Eric, yeah? He says, what are your advice for grassroots teachers, primary or secondary schools, who may want to explore and use corpus linguistics in their daily classroom practice?
That's a really good question.
Eric?
It's in 2018, I had a book called Corpus Linguistics for English Teachers, and I focused on introducing it, for teachers who don't know much about it. It's just basically a research approach, right? The corpus linguistics is collecting corpora, collecting naturally occurring language, whether it's written or spoken, right? And the argument is for us to better teach language, we gotta take a look at the data. So it's similar to what people have already termed as data-driven learning, with data coming from corpora that teachers have collected, right? So they can collect, for example, samples of their student writing, sample of writing that's excellent, that could be a target model writing, and utilize data from that in terms of creating materials, right? So I would say start from reading. If you already have read some articles and some backgrounds about corpus linguistics, that is great. But if not, get more information, learn about the approach, learn about what it is and what it is not, in terms of don't get fooled by potentially misleading information out there, right? So data is very important. It could be utilized in language teaching and how teachers will develop teaching materials from one single activity, for example, or if you have a classroom with access to computers, then you can have access to tools like concordancers or online corpus tools, where you can have your students actually interact with the tools so that they are in a sense exploring data. It would be great if the students are actually doing language research themselves and they're becoming familiar with the structures of language. It's a great teaching, it's a great experience, and it will help them learn more about the structures of language. So I will have to start by saying, learn more, do your research, and hopefully there will be some sample activities that you can adapt and utilize in your own classroom and see how it goes. In my experience so far, the students actually say they like it. You know, they like the control, they like the data-driven approach, and so far it has been successful for teachers as well. It's just a matter of making language and language teaching fun at the same time when students have that control.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof. Eric. That is very practical and helpful, I think. So now let us move on to Prof. Shamim. Perhaps you would like to ask a question for Prof. Yiling. Yeah? Yep. You have to unmute.
Thank you, Prof. Cordelia. Hi, Yiling.
Hi.
Yiling, Prof. Yiling, I just Singapore is a nation that prides itself in with great education curriculum, yeah, particularly in teacher education. And I was just wondering, how do you see the future of teacher training of teachers to embrace multilingualism, including English, of course, because English is the medium of instruction, right, in Singapore, and therefore in embracing multilingualism, towards embracing linguistic diversity, inclusivity, and cultural sensitivity. How do you see this in the future? Because as we see it, Englishes have become quite a feature, and you see in Singapore you have Singlish, in Malaysia you have Manglish, and how do you see training of teachers to embrace such linguistic diversity and multilingualism?
Thank you very much for that very great question. I think it is undeniable, and all of the speakers here on the panel have also talked about language in the context of globalization and also interdisciplinarity as a way of helping us to solve the complex and unpredictable problems that we're facing in the world today. So with regard to multilingualism and diversity, I think that this is something that we need to prepare all teachers for, whether they reside in Singapore or elsewhere. Using my lens for world Englishes, I'd like to say that we embrace really pluricentrism, which is not just one model, but many models that are important. And in my own work on pronunciation research and practice, I've always advocated listener-dominated norms. So now it's not about the native speaker versus a non-native speaker, but who do you want to be intelligible to? And that would be the norm for that particular context that you need to be aware of. Therefore, in the context of teacher preparation, if you would like our teachers to be able to preach about listener-dominated norms, we need to expose our students to as many different varieties of English as possible, and for them to also understand and unpack what it means in terms of the linguistic norms, including the cultural norms of these different varieties of English, and really to have them respect. So I think you have heard in my earlier talks, and I can see that time is running out and we might not have time to each have the summary word, but I would like to say that the way I've been thinking about language teacher education is to look at Howard Gardner's 5 minds plus 2 minds for the future. So it embraces a lot about what we're thinking and what we've been saying. So in a disciplined mind, language teachers need to be competent in teaching subject matter knowledge, pedagogical content knowledge, and knowledge of context, which is professional preparation. In terms of bearing in mind the synthesizing mind, our language teachers need to keep abreast of latest research and also discernment to be able to pick out what's good and what is not so good, including the flaws, especially with the proliferation of AI. In using the creating mind, our language teachers need to be willing to create and innovate our teaching methods and resources based on the depth that our disciplinary and synthesizing minds have given us. Next mind is a respectful mind. Language teachers, as I mentioned, need to always expose our students to different varieties of world Englishes so that we can encourage them to think about socio-cultural dimensions that these varieties bring and the identities that they portray, and to allow them to move away from thinking of a monomodal ideal model. In an ethical mind, language teachers always need to be reminded that the hallmark of a good teacher is to possess technical excellence in the field, underpinned by ethics, and that the ultimate goal of teaching is student engagement and helping our students to become lifelong learners. The sixth and seventh mind really emerged in recent times. We need language teachers to have a digitally literate and savvy mind in order to connect with students who are digital natives. We need to transform our teaching using digital platforms and other platforms so that we can keep learning going no matter how, no matter when, and no matter what, as we have experienced in the last 4 years of the pandemic. In the last mind, which is an adaptive and solutioning mind, language teachers have to adapt to the new normal of keeping teaching going and working within the constraints of virtual classrooms, closed schools, and international borders, which may take place at any time. And the adaptive and solutioning mind also will need to take into account the proliferation of generative AI and how we can still advocate for the humanness of the teaching endeavor in the midst of artificial intelligence. Thank you. I think it may, I'll pass it back to Cordelia.
All right, Prof. Ling, very intelligent, as you can see, yeah? So the word now you have native, non-native, now digital natives, yeah? So we're going native. And by the way, we're going to look at indigenous language as well in the ILA World Congress 2024, yeah? So if we're interested in that. So thank you very much, Prof. Ling, for the 7 types of intelligences, I would think, yeah, probably also linked to Howard's Gardner's work, yeah. So anyway, I wish that we could have another hour, but that's not a luxury that I could actually ask for. So we would like to have maybe Prof. Azira ask Prof. Eric a question this time, a very quick one, yeah, so that everyone will get a question. Yes.
Okay, a
Prof.
very quick question, Prof. Eric. You talked about great data, corpus linguistics, and the impact they have on policies. Could you give an example of how actually corpus linguistics or large language corpora data has actually done this, has impacted on policies and policymakers? Because often there's a disconnect between what we do as researchers in linguistics and actually how we can influence policymakers. So could you give us an example of how this has happened?
That's a very good question. There are some of my own experiences about this, Professor Azira, in the field of aviation. In terms of what I asked you and also what Professor Shamim mentioned earlier, workplace and all of these highly regulated kinds of interaction, particularly in spoken data, they have been unfortunately still in a way L1 English, native English motivated, you know, and aviation is this. Whether we like it or not, you have the United Nations, the International Civil Aviation Organization, that's kind of prescribing how to define a standard phraseology in English, you know, and including assessments of pilots, international controllers, all those things. With corpus data, however, we're able to provide some examples of things that contradict what the native norms may say. So, for example, the idea that in terms of what international pilots had to memorize and utilize in international interactions as they fly, there are the native prescribed phraseology, but we're finding out that there are many examples that, even native speaking pilots don't actually use this language, And so when we share this with the training programs, they realize that, for example, the standard phraseology could actually be replaced by what we call plain English. And so the use of plain English here will be more useful, will be more relevant, particularly if there are potentially happening accidents and things like that, right? So getting all of those data, sharing it with training institutions, and then convincing the regulators that this is how we should be doing it, I think is a way to go. Unfortunately, they don't listen immediately. There's that a little political side of it where they have to be convinced that this should be the way. But I think it's a great start. And there have been already some examples of words like polite markers and minimizers in language, respect markers in language, where originally it's not allowed, but then they have relaxed it a little bit and say, okay, we can allow it in some circumstances. So that came from data from Corpora that people actually use these kinds of phrases in the interaction.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Eric. Okay, now this is the hardest part of it before we hand the mic over to Mandy. I'm going to read quite a few questions on the chat. And with this question, the 4 panelists would have to think very quickly, but they can only answer in 1 sentence. Are you ready? Yes.
Okay.
Answer only in 1 sentence. I'm going to ask 4 questions, but your last comment, only in 1 sentence, you answer it. Yeah, it could be a run-on sentence if you like. But anyway, these are the questions, yeah? How can applied linguistics help fill the gap between English speakers and non-English speakers in acquiring new technology, AI, ChatGPT, etc.? Question number 1. Question number 2, will AI replace the role of English teachers in learning English? Will AI make English educators no longer needed in the education industry? Question number 3, do language tests from various countries, such as MUET in Malaysia, can it be recognized internationally at par with TOEFL and IELTS? And then this one says, just an observation, in connection with language teaching, many students of the present generation speak better English than their teachers, so that's not a question. And then, all right, has AI, where is it? Yeah, has AI, there's so many questions here. Research refuted the statement, yeah, computer, there's just too many questions. So I have to stop here with the last one, yeah? With the inevitable emergence of AI platforms, how will applied linguistics combat or harmonize with this platform? So those are the questions. So now I give you a 5-second breathing time, and I would like to ask for that 1 sentence answer. All right, this is very tough. So we'll start. I think you can either put up your hand or you can answer immediately. All right.
I'll take the question on MUET very quickly.
Yeah.
Cikgu Aman, MUET is currently the team from the ministry is now working towards making it internationalized. So it's going there and it will be there. That's it, my 1 sentence.
Thank you. Yes, next.
Okay, actually for us applied linguists to make an impact, to make a difference, we really do have to actually improve collaboration or cooperation, have closer cooperation between researchers, practitioners, and policymakers to be able to solve many of the problems in higher education.
I'll go
All
next.
right.
My short answer to whether AI will replace the role of English teachers is no, because ultimately the entire endeavor of education is a human endeavor. What makes education and teaching unique is the human and social interaction between learners and instructors, and that will never, ever be replaced by artificial intelligence.
I'll follow up with what Professor Ealing mentioned. My answer also is no. However, it's going to change. There will be new models, there will be new paradigms, and there will be a need for teachers to be on top of it. We have some mention of like the students are better English speakers than their teachers. This will have to be the same kind of stuff, that the teachers will have to be on top of AI more than their students. The teachers need to tell the students that, hey, I know what it is and I know how you're using it. I am smarter when it comes to how we will use this together in our learning.
Yes. Right. So everyone had a chance. We're not giving them marks, but maybe we all can give them a round of applause, right? And everyone, please react electronically on the platform. Yeah, give them a round of applause. But I see two more questions regarding accent as well as translanguaging. But no one is required to answer it, because if you want to know more, please come to the AILA World Congress 2024. All the other aspects of applied linguistics will be there. I'm sure it's worth every second your
I wanted to
investment.
say that, Dr. Cody.
Right,
The question on translanguaging, lots of papers and sessions on it, and on accents and whatever not. So with more than 1,200 papers, you're spoiled for choice. You have your answers to everything at the AILA World Congress. So let's see you there.
Right. And we have the HRDC claimable package too. For those of you who are working in corporation, please, encourage and persuade, coerce your company to make you experience the best 6 days of your life. We promise you that, right? Over to you, Mandy. I'm done with my job. Happy birthday again to me. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Mandy, you're muted, I think.
So sorry. See, I can't deal with all this AI and whatnot. Thank you very much, everyone. Big thank you to all our participants for joining us for this very interesting and relevant discussion. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I certainly did. Right now, please allow me to express my deep appreciation to our wonderful speakers and to the moderator, Professor Cordelia. Happy birthday again for the time and contributions. This is the first Fireside Chat for the year. And believe it or not, we've reached season 5. This makes it the 5th year of organizing both the Squaring the Circle debate and the Fireside Chats. Because everyone is busy traveling, we have reduced it to quarterly instead of bi-monthly. So the next Squaring the Circle debate, and also the last one for the year, is scheduled to be in August. We will be emailing you when the date and theme are confirmed. So please do check your emails, and I hope you will give us your support as you've been doing for the past 4 years. Do write to me if you would like to participate as a speaker. We will be launching our 2nd edition of the AppliedHE Public and Private University Ranking for ASEAN in November this year. And I'm pleased to inform you that we are now open for the submission of data. So please submit your institution's data ASAP if your institution is located in the ASEAN region, that's Southeast Asia, via the link here, ranking.appliedhe.com. We will be sending reminder emailers periodically till the launch. Also new and launching at the same time as the AppliedHE Public and Private University Ranking is the AppliedHE Leaders in Education Club. You can call it app.le or app.le or Apple for short, if any name works fine. The Apple Club is a consortium and it is by membership. Benefits are many and creative as well. Besides the usual networking and professional development activities, we will also curate our themes to align with the indicators of the rankings. For example, research and citation, reputation, internationalization, student mobility, recruitment, just to name a few. Both initiatives, the 2nd edition of the AppliedHE Public and Private University Ranking and the Apple Club, will be launching at the Sunway University in KL, Malaysia from the 17th to the 19th of November 2024. So please mark it down on your calendars or diaries. I hope to see as many of you at Sunway in KL soon. Now, I'd like to introduce you to a smart consulting strategy. I call it the 3 Musketeers, or 3M for short. And how did 3M came about? Well, this is the story. So in my 2 decades of extensive experience and observation in the higher education industry, and also having had the privilege of speaking to so many key decision makers like yourselves, presidents, vice chancellors, rectors, ministers, etc., all these dialogues have led me to make 3 crucial observations. And if you can get these 3 observations right, you would very likely be able to succeed in raising the excellence of your university. The first observation is, if you can promote your employability and student satisfaction successfully, you would have been able to convince both the parents and the students that your school is the right choice. I won't go into the details, but for every observation, we have a solution, and the solution for observation 1 is a job-ready rating from AppliedHE. The second observation is, if you know how to communicate, engage, and most of all, retain your alumni, you would have won half the battle already, because you would have been able to raise your reputation easily, both locally and globally. You will be able to recruit new students, generate more funding, donations, find more job opportunities and internships for your graduates, and many more. And to address this, we've created the Alumni Ready app to help you do the job. The third observation is, if you can equip your students with the soft skills that employers want, your students would be in great demand. And with your students in great demand, you'll not only be raising your employability status, you'll also be increasing your employer reputation. And the solution to this is the AppliedHE Critical Thinking Assessment Test, created specifically for your graduating students. In addition to equipping your students with the soft skills, this third observation also comes with a strategy that we dare to guarantee will help you to not only increase your employer reputation, but also to close the gap between industry and academia, so that you can now shape your curricula to what the industry wants. And when you have a relationship with the employers, think of the potential impact on your university's research initiatives. This will open up opportunities to monetize research outcomes, a privilege traditionally reserved for top-tier universities. Now this opportunity is accessible to all, allowing you to leverage your research for greater benefits, either at no cost or at a very low cost. So my 3 observations have evolved into a cutting-edge strategic consulting approach, meticulously crafted to tackle all your institution's challenges. The 3M consulting strategy will provide powerful insights and information for universities to make informed decisions and strategies, and also to truly understand all your stakeholders involved. Most consulting projects only look at one dimension, and that is addressing your current situation. With our 3M radar-like approach, you can now address your institution's past, present, and future challenges. Our apps and solutions will be able to help not just one department, but several key departments in your university. So in a nutshell, the 3M is, in essence, a groundbreaking consulting project crafted to meet the unique challenges faced by institutions in higher education. And as you can see from the list here, the 3M can do a lot for your institution. Most notably, you'll be able to connect with almost every employer that your students apply to, including international ones. It helps you to bridge the gap between academia learning and industry demands, thereby enhancing your reputation with employers. And with all these activities with employers, you'll be able to shape the curriculum to what the industry wants. The list just goes on. All these initiatives you once thought were out of reach to you, whether it's due to budget constraints or lack of connections and network, they're now possible with the 3M. And last but not least, we want to acknowledge our sponsors. We're very grateful for all their support. International Association of Applied Linguistics, or ILA as they're known, as mentioned in my opening, they're organizing their 21st ILA World Congress on the 11th to the 16th of August at the KLCC in KL. Please go to the website, ila2024.com. That's ila2024.com for more information or to register. Our other sponsors are City University of Hong Kong, Venus University from Indonesia, and the Education Insight from the UK. A big thank you for all your valuable support. We've come to the end of the first Fireside Chat for the year. Thank you very much, everyone. But please do not leave the room yet. We always must have our AppliedHE signature sign-off after our webinars. So we want to invite you to network a bit with everyone present here. So we're going to open the room now for a few minutes. You can see each other, say hello have a chat. You can also leave your name, contact in the chat box, or even a message of your intention. This is as much as we can do online in the name of networking. So please turn on your cameras. My colleague Simon will be upgrading you to panelists, so please do not decline. Don't be shy. And a gentle reminder again, if you would like to speak at any of our events, or I mean the webinars, or have a hot topic that you'd like us to cover, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Have a great evening or great day. Thank you. Over to you now, Simon. So is everyone coming in?
Yes. See people staying on.
Cordelia, you're muted.
Hi, Listen.
You probably know all your members here, so please feel free
Yeah,
to
Listen. Come on, turn on your cameras. Anybody shy in here?
Yeah, maybe they're in their pajamas. Don't want to be seen.
Yeah. Turn on. Hello, Anne. Yes. Hey, we have people from South Africa. Interesting.
Are these all from members of your AppliedHE organization?
No.
They're not?
It's very interesting. It's a pleasure to meet all of you online. Yeah. So, cameras are what we need.
Yeah, I think this is as fast as he can update.
Prof. Eric, do you do corpus in multimedia form as well?
Yeah, in various language as well. I've been working with since moving to Hong Kong, Chinese corpora. Although I don't necessarily understand everything, but at least I'm able to help with get data and work with Chinese speakers in order to make sense of the data.
I see. Yep, nice. Yep.
So they're not from your AppliedHE members?
No. Some people can't open their camera. They say they have no option to turn on the camera.
Oh dear.
I
Simon says
know
he's done.
Listen is working on translanguaging in China, right, Listen? Yeah. So that's somebody who asked about translanguaging, is interest in that area. Yeah. Anna is in workplace, right, Dr. Anna?
Yes, Prof. Yeah, workplace communications. I was intrigued by Prof. Eric's sharing. He talked about, what was it? I was sharing with Prof. Shamin. Very interesting. And I was asking the question on the customer satisfaction. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I saw that question earlier about customer is king, right? And we gotten corpus data about it. It's a different challenge, because as you know, customer service on its own is like we can control the representatives for training, but not necessarily the customers, right? Because they're the ones paying. They're the ones in terms of we also don't have access to them, although we can train the agent. So there are some, however, that shows that their language could sometimes be more influenced by potentially how they viewed the speaker because of accent, so that's something for us to further analyze.
And also, I think the context is also very important, where the situation, be it a tense environment, something in a misunderstanding, so then there's lots of innuendos, and that comes to Prof. Shamin's transdisciplinary, everybody comes involved.
Right.
Very, very interesting.
Just really lastly to say here in terms of, because see, there are these outsourced customer service, right, on the telephone based in India or the Philippines.
Yes,
countries,
you're
right?
You're right.
Communicating with callers from the United States. And a lot of the responses when it comes to some of these problematic ones were, in my opinion, maybe racially motivated. They know that they're communicating with people who are not in the United States, and so they act on that, the feeling or the emotions associated with it.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it says when the host invites you to be a panelist, then only you have access to the camera. Oh,
Yes, correct,
I
Prof.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why some people can't get camera. But what Eric, what you mentioned is very interesting. When you talk about, you see today a lot of people venting out their frustrations in terms of customer service on TikTok, on Facebook, uh, and then it goes viral, and that in itself becomes something to study, and it's data to use. And of late, one area that I'm very keen to work on, and I'm looking into it, is how to use transdisciplinary applied linguistics to look into human trafficking. And then I think in your work where you look at voice recognition, all those things comes into play. And it's interesting to see how we can look at how traffickers exploit the language barriers that the victims use. The victims, they come from various language these areas, and they speak different languages. They don't speak English, or they don't speak one person's language, like say, and they want to go and work in a particular country, and they're exploited because of the language barriers. So they use that to manipulate, they use that to control, which is quite interesting to see when you listen to what victims are telling you. So I think we have a role to play here, a big role as applied linguists. So there's so much to study. Wow. And it's data. So for those of you who are here, are you all coming to the to ILA 2024? Any one of you here are registered for 2024? I know a few people in here are, but I hope the rest of you will also come. Yep.
Okay, I think everybody's here. Those that
Let's
agrees.
take a
with
photo
that,
or
want
whatever,
to
whoever
okay.
the camera
Yes,
is
can
on.
you take a picture, please?
Cecilia, you got camera on. Oh, hi, Noha. All the way from Japan.
Just for a while. Come on, have a picture.
Yeah. Yeah. See, they all got the cameras on. Yeah.
Simon, are you there?
Yep.
Can you take a picture, please?
Yep, done.
Oh.
Hold on. Someone is coming.
Some people are coming in. Some people say they cannot access camera, Simon.
That should be on their end, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah, one last one, huh?
Kevin, you disappeared.
Cynthia can't see
Come on,
you.
come back in.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you
we'll
very
see
much.
you
Thank you,
again.
Simon. Thank you,
Thank you very
Mandy.
much. Yeah.
Thank you,
To see
Eric.
all of you at the next
Healing,
squaring the
Prophet
circle.
Kira, Cordelia. And thank you for everyone for being here today.
Thank
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 you,
you, everyone.
Okay.
Mandy
Good night,
and
everybody.
panelists.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Gotta go for late dinner now. And happy birthday,
Yeah.
Cordelia.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Cordelia.
you.
Birthday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you so much, teachers.